Hello, everybody. My name is Roxtus.
And I'm Soulgale.
And welcome back to Grand Theft Auto 5.
Woo!
Well, you ready?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. Three things you need to know. A lot of testing, a lot of things that we are trying to figure out in GTA. Whoa, that helmet popped off. Interactions, preferences. What the heck in GTA? How to make anything work. So, three things that you need to know. This, not this, this. So you got phone. You got your management menu, your interaction menu. So this is actually interaction. And then you have the pause menu screen, or basically the preference screen. So what do these three things do? What are they supposed to do? So first off, phone, just basic communications. You have jobs that you can go through and be invited on. With the same thing with text, you can get text from people that just lets you, it gives you a heads up and lets you know what's actually happening in the world. And then, of course, you have just settings. You can change your phone, how it appears. Internet, you can go on the internet. Well, same thing with communications. You can go in, you can buy properties. This is basically just communications overall, just with your phone. How you buy things, how you communicate with people, how you start jobs. And it's pretty much just your really go-to, especially if you want to buy businesses for the internet. This is wonderful. That is a really good way to go and buy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is your escape, or basically your pause menu. You can see she's paused right now. She's inside of her preference menu. So now we can go into the preference menu. We have access to the map. We have access to different online servers, so we can go join a different friend or go to different sessions. This is really nice. Your friends list, it shows all your friends. Info on what jobs you have currently. Your store, which you can go and buy shark cards or any actual in-game money with real life money, real dollars. And then your preferences. So these are your preferences, your settings for your controller, your device, your keyboard, your key bindings, anything that you actually need. This actually is going to come in handy quite a few times because for me, especially with key bindings, there are a ton of key bindings for every single different thing in the game.
Yeah.
From just general interactions, movement, combat, weapon select, weapon or vehicles general, how to look behind in a vehicle. This is annoying. I have not used that all that much. But
Nope.
when you are in a vehicle, this is just giving you a preference. If you are in a vehicle and you hit the C button, you will look behind you. It's a very quick and interaction menu. I never use this. I really should use this a lot more often. But a big bad thing is I'm moving forward. Can I see where I'm going? Nope.
No.
So I crash into something or something happens and
I just crashed into you.
you just can't see. You'll bump into people. You go, oh, excuse me, sir. Pardon me. Yep. So there's that. So just overall, just keybinds, especially for keybinds. There's a lot of aircraft, submersibles, parachute, your cell phone interactions, how you interact with your cell phone, your different, how you swipe through your menu on your cell phone, phone right, different options there.
Yeah.
Eat a snack if you hit your Q wheel. If you are low on health, you hit Q and you hold that and you hit C and you'll actually heal up. So if you're low on health, you can actually heal yourself back up. Another thing to note as well, there is, and I believe this is really useful because of what I'm going to show now, is in key bindings, if you go to, there is stealth mode. I don't even use stealth mode. Left control.
I don't either.
Yeah, we have not had a lot of missions at all for that. So you have different weapon selects. You can go 1 through 9 for your different weapons. On your Q wheel, it does the same thing. There's literally no difference. So if I want to select, let's say, if I want to change out to my marksman rifle, on my Q wheel as well, I can select the button 1 through 8 or whatever it is. And eventually I'll come to number 9. Number 9 is my marksman rifle. So there is, for a keyboard, for just PC, there is different buttons to actually get to your rifles and stuff like that. So if you're on PC or if you're on controller, it's going to be different. If you are on controller, I would highly suggest spending an hour going through your key actions and going, okay, how am I moving around? You know, if you're on keyboard as well, take an hour, take a good minute to go through everything and see that everything is as you would want it. Because a lot of the key bindings are really ridiculous in this game. You really have to pay attention to what button actually interacts with whatever else. The one thing I wanted to show though, if I can find it. Here we are. Toggle helmet visor. So this is actually on GTA Online.
Oh.
And you can go to toggle helmet visor. This is pretty important too as well. Bike mode, but there are going to be a lot of different controls. But right now, kind of the one that's more important for us is toggle helmet control. This is actually pretty important. Because if I'm on my bike, I will go ahead, I'll put on my helmet. Now what I can do is hit that button and I can raise and I can lower that visor. This is pretty key. This is pretty useful for this.
Mine's F11.
So that's the preference menu, okay? That is just how you change your buttons. Again, so cell phone, contacts, how to buy things, anything like that. If you hit your escape, this is preference. So you can see where things are at on the map. And then you can go to your settings, and this is your preferences, how you want your controller set up, how you want anything set up. And there are a lot of key bindings. And I will say, even when I'm doing the cocaine runs, I absolutely hate every single time that I do the UPS drop off for the cocaine that I have to hit the right arrow button for that. There should be highly customizable keybinds, and it should be universal across the board for every single mission. And this is just not the case with GTA 5. If I go and I try to do a cocaine drop, there is no option for me to change a keybind in some of these missions. So for the cocaine drop off, if I go up to the door, it'll always give me the right arrow keybind. I cannot change that keybind. That's permanent. That's just built into GTA. And more than times than not, you actually get into a mission, it'll actually switch keybinds on you between missions. So if I'm doing a heist and then I'm doing a different heist, I can have two different keybinds for doing the same exact thing. And especially when you are looking at, what are they? The stash houses for doing the lock chest versus Vincent's.
Yeah.
Now this is just one case of it. I don't know how many cases there are. There's probably quite a few of different keybinds for the same exact interaction, okay? But for the stash house, if you go into the stash house, interacting with the safe for PC only, as far as I understand it, there's two different ways to interact with the safe logging in the combination. It's very frustrating because of the different setups between the safes. So for the actual heist doing Vincent, versus the stash house, if you get into it with PC and you're actually using interactions, they have two completely different setups for how you interact with the safe in a stash house versus if you're actually doing the mission as Vincent. So this is super annoying. Again, if you have controls in a game, it should be universal across the board how those controls are used throughout the entire gameplay. I don't want to see this where the controls are switching up on me every single second and I'm trying to figure out how to interact with something and the controls have completely changed since the last time I've interacted with something. Last time I checked, using a hammer and smacking something on the head is just the same as using a hammer and smacking something on the head. I shouldn't have E on one mission to smack something on the head and Q in the next mission to smack something on the head. It should be the same interaction button every single time that you use that same interaction button. There is going to be no difference. And to see that where the stash house, I believe it's like if you scroll versus if you go up and down, that it's different on the different safe combinations. I'll have to get that more detail. But as far as I know, that is really annoying for that. But this is the main button that we want to use. This is actually interesting. And then the third thing is your management menu. This is your interaction menu. So your spawn locations, how you actually open up doors for your vehicles. If you want to summon a vehicle, you can do that from here. You can do the same thing on your phone for summoning. If we go to our mechanic, we can go ahead and click on mechanic. We'll call him up, and then he'll be able to pull up our vehicle, whatever vehicle we desire, to our location. So the same thing, if we go to M for management vehicles, we're actually Motorcycle Club president right now. So we can go ahead and summon on the spot, on demand, that motorcycle. And it'll spawn as close as it can to me via the road. So right down there, there's my bike.
Mine's
it's down
over
on the
here.
edge. Yeah. But that is really useful because then on demand, as long as you're on
There it
a
is.
drivable road or somewhere that it can park the vehicle, it will always park your bike right next to you, as close as it can to you. So if I actually ended up going toward this street over here, and I take a second and walk over here, it will actually spawn my bike as close as it can to me over on this street, on this side over here. And as soon as I get closer, it'll actually register. Nope. Is that as close as you can get it?
Mine's over here.
There
and
we
it's
go.
very far.
See, now it registered. Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Mine's very far. Look at it.
Yeah, I can tell it's pretty far. But it will, as soon as you get onto the street level, it will spawn it as close to your location as it registers you. So if you actually hit that button again, you'll actually probably pull that bike closer to you the more times you actually interact with it. Is it still really far away?
It's very far.
Go ahead and do it again.
There we go.
There you go. So it will...
You just gotta play around with it for a little bit.
Yeah, you just have to keep on prompting it, and then it'll register your location, and then it'll pull it as close to you as you can actually possibly get it. So that is pretty good for that. So interaction, you'll be able to pull your car close to you. You can manage your vehicles. If you have airplanes or anything else like that, you can change the doors, how the doors are open, doors are closed.
Oh, yeah.
Health and ammo, you can add armor, snacks, anything else like that. This is interaction as well, so you can change your appearance. You can do other things as well. I'm not sure on all those for right now. I'll have to get more in depth on it. But this is something I really wanted to show. So you were asking on the spawn location.
Yeah, how to set my spawn point.
So, in here somewhere is your spawn location. Let's see here.
Oh. Failed for my counterfeit cash. Oh well.
Oh no. Did you have stash? Oh, that's unfortunate timing.
That's fine. I don't care.
Okay. So appearance. So that's just governing appearance. Challenges. Preferences at the bottom. Preferences. So if you are
Preferences.
fresh, we'll start fresh. You hit M, or you go to your interaction menu. Depends on if you're a controller or if you're on PC. You go to preferences,
Preferences.
and inside preferences, it has spawn location. So you can tell
Okay.
if you own a building. First thing you have to do is you own a building, and then you can choose your location where you want to actually spawn in at. So mine is actually my apartment's garage. So this is the apartment.
Oh, garage.
I have it set to the garage so that I have
Okay.
easy access. So as soon as I load into a session, I'm safe because I'm inside my building. I can't get griefed,
Which is nice.
which is nice because then all you need is to load outside of your building. If you hit random, last location or random, it will spawn you outside the exterior of the building. Now, depending on the session, depends on what players you have around you, which is wild. You
Yeah.
can get really crazy people. They can blow you up. They can take your cash. If you have cash on you, another thing too to note, double check this menu. Make sure your bank is full versus your cash. Your bank is what's in the bank. If you have 691,000 in your cash, another player can kill you and take all that cash, as far as I understand.
Yeah, I need to put stuff in the bank.
Yeah, so always go to your ATMs locations, or if you're looking for ATM locations, there's these little stores. And most of the time, for these stores, they have an ATM on the inside of them. So if
Yeah.
you go to most of those stores, this store I know doesn't have an ATM in
No.
it. But for most stores, they will have an ATM. And then, of course, if you have a home setup, you should know where the closest ATMs to you are. I would definitely preference looking at a map and seeing where the ATM locations are on their maps. But we know for us, Longbank has 2 ATMs over here on this side, on the northern side of the building. And then for down this daisy chain, the first daisy chain down, there is an ATM right down the side of the street down here
Which is at the theater.
in the little theater. So we can go in here and you can go ahead and deposit your cash. But for the majority of the time, if you're looking for an ATM, a good way to tell where an ATM is, look for any store. Any store will generally most likely have an ATM on the inside of it. If it doesn't, just check the next closest location to you for that ATM, and they'll probably have an ATM in there so you can deposit your cash. And that basically puts it in a vault, and no other player can touch it.
Yay!
That's going to feel really bad if you have $1 million on you, someone kills you and takes all that cash, and you don't have it. That's pretty dangerous to have everything in cash rather than putting it into the bank.
Yeah.
So there's that. You can go ahead and change your spawn location. I would hit garage because for me, garage is a really good spot to be in because then you can just pop into your car, zoom out, and be able to go wherever you want to go. If you want to travel halfway across the map, there's a really another good clean tactic you can do. You can have a business over here, and if you have a nightclub way across all the way over to the other side of the map, you can respawn and start a new session, but respawn if you're playing solo in the other side of the map using your other business. So all you'd have to do is basically go to the management menu. This is real brain here. You can go to your preference. You can change it, like let's say if your nightclub was all the way on the other side of the map, right? You can change your spawn location to your nightclub, and then through the online interaction menu, you can find a new session, and what it'll do is it will respawn you. Well, where's it going to respawn you to? The location that you've desired,
That
right?
you picked, yeah.
So what's it going to do? It's going to pop you from this side of the map all the way to the other side of the map, which is really nice. It'll save you a ton of time, especially if you're doing solo or anything like that. It'll save you a ton of time. You'll be able to just pop onto the other side of the map very quickly and very readily. So that's really, really nice. So that's that as far as I know, and I'll come back to this if I understand and learn anything more. But for now, we want to go on to helmets.
Woo!
How the heck do helmets work?
Helmet!
Why does this thing go on when I go on it? I love this. I've already shown this. If you go through your preference menu, you will be able to find that button and you'll be able to keybind that button to whatever you desire. So if you want to actually pull your visor up, pull your visor down, and you're wondering, wait a minute, why is that important? Why is that miniature interaction important? Well, cool thing. There are helmets that are actually very useful for combat. So let's go ahead and take a look at combat helmets.
Combat helmet.
So biker helmets, for any type of helmet, they give a certain level of protection. So if you are looking at your basic, I believe it's basic helmets. Yes, basic helmets. So these are for just biking or whatever you want to use them for, mainly for biking. If you fall off your bike, you'll notice if you have a helmet on versus if you don't have a helmet on, you'll take less damage. So if you don't have a helmet on and you fall off your bike, you could instantly be dead because if you hit too hard.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a helmet on, you can actually survive that impact. So any helmet in here would actually do. You could even get, there's a free junky one at the very beginning. It's a turquoise colored helmet. This will actually protect you from any impact. So as long as you have a helmet on, you're good. Now, some of you might not like helmets. You go, I don't want the silly helmet on. It doesn't look good on me for whatever reason. Well, how do you turn that off? So we just selected glossy helmet. We just got our helmet. Same thing as if we got a glossy helmet or the basic free helmet. So you just bought that and you're like, well, I don't want to see the helmet on me all the time. I want to be able to put it on when I'm on the bike and be able to pull it off when I'm off the bike. and be able to just have it on whenever I need it. So if we get off here right now, the helmet, as you've noticed, you should see, it's selected, but he's not pulling it off. He's still got it on his head. You're like, wait a minute, I can't get this stupid thing off my head. Well, how do I get the stupid thing off my head? Well, in your management menu, you have two fun little buttons. These are toggle buttons. So if you go to appearance, you have your bike helmet in appearance, and you have two toggles. These are your two different toggles. Pay attention to these. These are very interesting. So auto equip bike helmet and auto equip aircraft helmet. Here's our bike. If you get in a helicopter or aircraft, you will equip your aircraft helmet. Okay? Well, how do we turn this bike helmet so I can only equip it when it's equipped and be able to pull it off when I want it to go off? So when you buy your helmet, when you go into a store and you buy the helmet, you buy the helmet. You have it on. The interaction menu will automatically go to whatever helmet you have recently selected in the store. So it'll go to that helmet, whatever you selected, to be able to deselect it so you can just have it off all the time. And so you don't have to have it on as long as these two buttons, these two toggles are on, it'll always pull your helmet on when you're on the bike. So what you have to do to make sure that it isn't on all the time is you have to deselect it in the appearance menu. So you can go through your appearance menu, or you can go into the store and you can go to your helmets and go to the very top of the page. I'm going down because it's closer. And you select no helmet. As soon as you do this, your helmet is deselected. As long as your two toggles are on, anytime that you interact with your vehicle in your appearance, you will automatically put your helmet on.
Ta-da!
So this is what auto equip helmet is. It'll automatically put your helmet on whenever you get inside or on a bike or a helicopter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just the same as the opposite could be said. If I want to keep a helmet on. So just recently, I got a thermal helmet, which is fun.
Which I need to get one.
Which is really fun. So we're going to go to combat helmets. We're going to go ahead and pop on our thermal helmet.
Combat helmet. Well, which one did you get? Did you get the aqua one?
I got the aqua camo. I'm almost thinking these are pretty cheap for me right now. Yeah, they are pretty cheap. It's only 100K.
Well, the aqua one goes with my shirt.
But I really do like the colors on black. Black is a good color and moss is a good color. But if you're wondering about these, there's two different definitions. So you see black quad lens, and then you have a dual lens. So just the first letter just states what it is. Zebra, of course, is going to be zebra. Black is going to be black. Quad, you see there's four, or basically two different scopes.
Yeah.
And dual has only one scope. What's the difference between those? Which they just said N lens or a T lens,
Oh.
because these dual lenses are night vision. Quad is specifically going to be your thermal lenses. Thermal lenses, just to, like, you can see the difference between those two, but night lens is not as good as thermal. Thermal, you can see people very, very vividly, very well, because when you put on thermal, they turn to orange. When you put on a night lens, it's not as good because you just get night vision. It's just not as good. I mean, yellow is super easy to see, especially at night. But these helmets are very good for combat, especially if you're trying to see people in the dark and you cannot see them. You don't know if they're on top of a building, where they're shooting at, where they're shooting from. These are super good tactically because you have a tactical advantage knowing where your enemy is at. You don't have to guess at it. You will know where they're at.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go ahead and grab, I don't know if you got,
Whoa.
whoa. So you can go ahead and hit that and walk on out.
All right, I
Yeah.
got him.
So you got your own pair there.
Yep, and I went for the aqua one.
So if you flip your visor down, now you have thermal vision on. And you'll notice that I actually have my visor down and it doesn't have any thermal. You're like, wait a minute, what? So this is another thing on the interaction menu. So you go ahead, go to appearance, go to accessories. When you're in accessories, you have your lens. You can hit spacebar or whatever the interaction is for you on whatever console or device you have, and it'll change the thermal and it'll activate it, and you can deactivate it. And now here's the quick way to turn it on and off, just like you've done, is you can just flip the visor and it'll turn off the thermal, and you can flip the visor again and it'll turn it back on. So this is really nice, because then if I don't know where the enemy's at and they're shooting at me from the top of the roof, I can see a big yellow dot right on top of that roof. And I go, huh, that's where his head is. I can pop him rather than trying to guess in the dark where the heck he's at. And this is really good because everyone's in yellow. Yellow is such a broad color. You
Yeah.
can easily see anything with that. So that is really, really good.
I kind of took mine off.
You took yours off.
I took my vision off.
You took your vision off. So now, a big bad bear problem is, if we go to appearance, these two toggles are still on. Okay? So what that means is if we get on a bike, or if you get into aircraft, what happens when you get off of that bike, or if you get off of the aircraft?
It's gonna take off your helmet.
It's going to take off your helmet. It's exactly what's going to happen. So if I get on the bike, he's got the helmet on. As soon as I get off the bike, and sometimes it does it and sometimes it doesn't, but you will notice he does pull off the helmet. It is kind of glitchy on that part, but he does pull off the helmet. I've noticed it more times with aircraft. You jump out of aircraft, you paraglide down, and as soon as you roll out of the aircraft, he'll pull the helmet off. He'll just yank it off. And you're like, no, I want that night vision because
Yeah.
it's so useful and I want to keep it on me all the time. Well, how you do that is a safe way to do that is you want to deselect your two toggles in appearance and you want to turn those off. So you keep the helmet on all the time. That way you just got this helmet super glued to your head and it's never going to come off. Now there are going to be some instances where the helmet actually does come off. That's actually going to be in some of your heists. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get my vision back on.
You're trying to get your vision back on?
Yeah.
So you hit M, go to
And-
your appearance,
Uh,
go to accessories. Now on helmets, you hover over your helmets
yes.
and you should have to hit spacebar. Maybe you have to put your visor back down. Go to visor, put your visor back down.
Okay.
Now that your visor's down, go to your helmets. You're in accessories. Okay, you
Yeah.
got that. And your visor's still up. gotta
It's,
put your-
it's supposed to be down.
Exit out of the, there you go. Now go to, back into there. There you go. Appearance, accessories. Go to your visor.
Okay, there we go.
Now you have the interaction port.
All right, there we go.
So that is something that you'll have to kind of learn
Yeah.
is if you want to turn it, toggle it on and off from the interaction menu, you have to have the visor down first to be able to turn and toggle on and off the thermal. If you want to turn this on and off, you have to have the visor down
Okay.
to be able to turn that on and or off. So that is something that's going, I need to turn mine back on. So just a lot of learning how the system even works,
Yeah.
how to interact with things. But yeah, this is really nice. This is really cool. But for some heists, they will not allow you to actually have the helmet on.
No.
So they will actually, you'll see if you get into any of those missions and you have this helmet on and you have it super glued on because you have turned both of those toggles off. So whether you're in a bike or an aircraft, it will not matter. you will always have that helmet on your head. But when you enter into a heist and you go, wait a minute, my helmet's missing, don't panic. It's fine. It's supposed to be like that for some missions or some heists. They will not allow you to actually have that helmet on. They will have it pulled off. And then as soon as you exit that mission, I've already done Vincent's like that. Vincent, he pulled my helmet off. And as soon as I exited the mission, I still had my helmet on. It's just for the heist because they don't want you to have the helmet on.
Aww.
But yeah, but this is really useful, especially if I'm going over to my cocaine lockup or anything. It's dark at night. I can't see anything. I can't see Bonk. I'm bonking into walls. And there's a whole bunch of enemies. I have no clue where they're shooting at. Now I know he's on top of the roof. Now I know he's down in the gutter, popping out of the gutter hole, at me. I can see where those people are at because yellow is such a blatant color, to be honest.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just locked onto you for some reason.
Yeah, I have no clue. But quite a bit of things. So you have those three things. So you have your phone, there's communications, just buying things. You have your preference menu. You can go in here, change your map, be able to look at your map. And of course, you can set destinations as well, just like modern GPS.
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely? We have GPS now. You're not lost anymore. And then we have our key bindings, which definitely take quite a bit of time going through these key bindings. I know for me, I've got quite a bit of learning to do because I haven't even gotten to submersibles yet. And that's going to be fun.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be fun learning. But especially for helmets, this got really confusing for me, and I started to learn about it, and I was like, oh my goodness. So definitely something to pay attention to. Watch your toggles, and when you're going to accessories, watch if you have your visor down. Watch if you have that toggle there. You will have the toggle if your visor is down. That's the detail you have to watch. Just watch your helmet, and always stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You have your interaction, and that's pretty much all that we have. Pretty much. Stay safe, and we will see you guys in the very next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.